I'm out here at the main no-weed garden at my watermelon trellis. I got one 16-foot panel here, and for those who aren't following me, this is a breeding work of mine to try and capture a decent sized melon, say this size or a little bigger, that has extremely small seeds. I planted many of the really small melons. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, that were this size last year, and maybe a little bigger in some cases, that you can see here and here and here, that I'm getting lots of these small fruits still. So what I did was I crossed, I took one container of quetzalli, which is a melon that's about this size here, and I planted it in one of the containers in the middle of all of these small melons that had really tiny seeds. So I know that when these grew, they came from the really tiny seed. So if I got any melon of size, like this one here and this one here, I know it had to have crossed with the quetzalli. I'm out here because I'm going to pick 3 melons and 3 watermelons. And the reason why is because I'm getting a little anxious, because I found one of the melons here that was on the ground had been eaten. It was eaten by either a raccoon or a possum. They always get them right when it's ready to harvest. One of the methods that people will talk about ad nauseum is to get it once the little tendril here has dried from the melon. I do use it as an indicator too. That's good advice. But I also thump it. If it's a dull sound, that's also an indicator. And also what I typically do is I'll leave it on the vine for another 5 to 7 days, just to make sure. The problem, like I said though, is that critters are starting to get my melons right when they're ripe. So now what I'm doing is I'm looking and I'm taking it, like this tendril here, it's still viable. There's no way, even though it sounds a little dull, there's no way this one's quite ready. All right, I managed to find 5. I just cut the cord, and I'm gonna bring them to the house with the hammocks. Oh, that's heavy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll show me fumbling around a little bit with it. I got them in my garage now. I'm going to take them out of the hammock, and I'm going to number each one near the stem here with a Sharpie, 1 through 5, and line them up so we can look at them that way. I also selected 3 of the small melons. Here's my hand. I'll get a weight on those too. Those are going to have small seed, I know that. So the reason why I selected those, and I'm going to keep the seed from it, it's the bottom line. So so I can cross back again next year if I need to, and I don't run out of that small seed. And here they are in no particular order. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm not going to number these. No point in doing that. So now let's get a weight on them. All right, let's get a weight on them. I've got it for pound and ounces. Let's take the little ones first. 1 pound, 3.5 ounces. Put that over here. Yeah, 13.6 ounces. Under a pound on that one. And this one's going to definitely be under a pound. And that one is 12.1 ounces, all less than a pound. All right, let's just get some bigger ones here. We'll start with this one, which is the next smallest after the little ones. That one is 3 pounds, 5.8 ounces. We'll start over here with number 1. That was number 5. This is number 1. It feels really heavy. 6 pounds, 15.4 ounces, so right at 7 pounds. This is my favorite color, number 2. I like that because it's different. I always like different. This is 6 pounds, 1.7 ounces. That's a good size. By the way, tell me what color you like best. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And to me, it looks like 1 and 3 and 4 are about the same. 5's got a little coloration, and 2 is beautifulous. Very beautiful. All right, we did number 2. Let's do number 3. This feels a little heavier than 2. It is 7 pounds, 1.2 ounces. And then the big boy. Oh, goodness. Picking it up by the stem of my fingers is not the easiest. All right, that is 9 pounds, 2.1 ounces. That's a beast right there. That is the size I'd like to have. It makes a good icebox size. The other 3 back there, they're decent. And I could do with this if I bred them to be a personal melon, you know, like a quick snack. All right, in my refrigerator, this is a garage refrigerator. I've got number 2 and number 4 on this shelf here. 2 different shelves because they're kind of heavy. I got 1 and 3 there, and I got the 3 small ones and the one that's a little bigger, and the crisper here with some cucumbers. And I'm going to weigh them, cut them open after they're cold so I can eat them at the same time. All right, this is watermelon number 1. It is ice cold. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it open, give you a look at it. I'm going to check the seed size. I'm going to do a bricks test here, and I'm going to, of course, taste it and give you my opinion. So I've got a big knife here, and this is the plate that I'm going to keep the seeds on. All right, it's not very ripe, and that's a chance I had to take, and the seeds are quite large, so I'm probably not going to even address this melon anymore because the seeds are too big. The ripeness really didn't have anything to do with it. I could have tested the seeds, but I'll go ahead and get a taste test of this area. Boy, it's juicy. Even though it's not ripe, it's very good. So no go on this one. All right, we've got number 3. There's some freakishly white seed. Completely unripe. But the seed, I guess it's just not ripe. It's weird. There's no point in really doing this one because of seed size. If it was tiny seed, it's already sweet, but number 3, I believe this is number 3. Yep, is a no-go. This is the big one, number 4. And yes, it is also ice cold. They all are. Put them in there last night. You saw in the video. I don't think this one's going to be ripe either. It goes to show you can't go by the tendril. The tendril was dry almost completely on all of these. That's why I always go extra. Okay, this one is the biggest one. And you can see here, even though it's not completely ripe, it's still quite ripe enough. You can see here how small the seed is. Let me see if you can see it in the camera here. I'm gonna jump behind the camera. The seed there is quite tiny compared to the others. And so this is definitely a keeper, the seed. And I will get some tiny seed melon again, excuse me, next year. I'll plant a lot of this for sure, and a few of the tiny seed ones. And eventually what I'm hoping to do is bring this down even to half this size. But this is quite good. Let me see if I can squeeze some. Let me get a taste test and a bricks test before I collect the seed off camera. So this is a taste. Wow, very, very sweet. It's so freaking good when it's ice cold like this. So I'll remark this one to a 4, and there's going to be a lot of seed. All right, we get a bricks on this. The bricks is 11. I thought it would have been higher than that, but 11's pretty good. Occasionally I'll have a cherry tomato that's up there that high, but 11 is pretty darn sweet. That's so good. So I'm gonna collect the seed and I'm gonna eat this whole watermelon. Anyway, we'll bring you back for the others. So I've pulled over 100 seed here from one half, and the other half, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to be able to cut a watermelon and eat it and not worry about the seeds in it. And I noticed with the tiny seeded watermelon that I had last season, I could just eat it and I wouldn't even notice the seed. Now these are a little bigger than last year's seed, but there's a reason why seedless watermelons are sought after and being grown quite a bit these days, and that's because seeds are kind of a pain in the butt, especially the big ones that are in most melons. So what I'm going to do here is, this has got seed all in it, and this is an eat quality test. I'm just going to bite into it and just eat it without removing any seeds to see what I think of this size seed right here. It's pretty good. It's I felt one seed when I was chewing. None in that bite. A little bit of one in that bite. None in that bite. None in that bite. Now, if I chewed this like I chewed steak, yes, I'm going to taste these, but I don't think most people chew their watermelon to death, because you can take watermelon and push it against the roof of your mouth with your tongue and just kind of disintegrates, kind of like cotton candy in a way. But it's not like steak. So if I were to chew the dickens out of it, yes, I'm going to hit the seed. But the eating quality, how I would normally eat a watermelon, is what I'm after. It means some chewing. Didn't have any in that bite either. This already is a good eat. Now if I can get the seed even smaller, that's ideal to me. I didn't feel any in that one either, you guys, and there's a lot of seed in there. I love watermelon so much. The weird thing is my wife doesn't like it at all. I don't understand that. How can anybody not like watermelon? It's so good, especially when cold. Wow, that's already a phenomenal eat. This by itself would achieve a near goal for me, so I'm going to try to get it smaller. Let's look at the next watermelon. All right, we have the final potential. I do have the one that's smaller than this and 3 little ones that I'll cut open, but this is number 2, and this is a potential promise. Number 2. So yeah, I like the coloring on this the best. Okay, unfortunately the seed in this one is large. Let me see here. Get behind the camera so you can see here. Yeah, the seed's too large for my taste. That's unfortunate because I like the color on it. Alright, the last of the melons for this video anyway. So what I've got here are the seed from that last melon, number 2, and I wanted to keep it to show you a comparison between it and, for sure, at least one of these 3 will have the tiny seed in it, so you can see the difference in seed size. And I'm hoping this one has tiny seed in it. This has, number 5, it has a potential to be what I would call a pocket melon, a personal melon, something one person can just, you know, grab, cut in half and just snack on real quick. Someone without a big appetite. Me, I could probably eat 3 of these in one sitting easily. But this size here, they could potentially be grown up a trellis, and the weight would not break the vine. They would fit in a refrigerator much easier in different areas, and there's probably people out there that would like something this size, just something that's not overwhelming. You cut it, you finish it, you're done with it. You don't have to put it back in the refrigerator, cut in half or something like that. Number 4 is what I would call an icebox fridge, a refrigerator melon or an icebox melon, and that's, you know, a good size, feed easily 2 people. That's my preferred size, about, you know, I don't know, 8 to 10 pounds. I forget what this weighed, but this would be a good pocket melon potentially. So yeah, if it depends on the seed size. If it has real tiny seed, I'll save the seed. If it's anywhere close to this, then this one's gonna die. So anyway, no need in rambling on too much. I just want to share my thoughts as I go along in what I'm doing. Oh wow. What I like about this one is it's right close to the edge. Let me see the seed. The seed looks like it's about the same size as number 2, maybe a little bit bigger. But I like it. I don't see a lot of seed. So one of the seeds fell over here. So let me get 2 of these seeds and show you the difference in seed size between these 2 up close, so you can see them. I don't think I'm going to continue with this one. Oh no, I'll keep the seed. Keep waffling on it. Okay. There's the seed difference in size. You can see that this one's probably half the size of this one. So I'm going to keep both of these, and I'll set it aside, number 2 aside. I like the size. Now next year when I grow number 4 again, I'm going to get some that are for sure going to be smaller because it obviously crossed, and I'm going to get some, hopefully they'll be a little bigger and a whole lot the same size. So I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to cut through these little ones. These are really too little for anything I would like to do. But if you think differently, let me know. Wow. This one doesn't even look like it has... Yeah, it does. Let me cut it open here. Very few seed. There. And tiny. Seed in this one is really tiny. Okay, I'm gonna put these aside. I'm going to bring the camera in, I think, so you can see the difference in seed size. I'll put the bigger seed in the middle. Alright. See that seed right there? See how tiny that is? Look at it compared to my fingernail. You cannot detect that when you eat a watermelon. And that may be even smaller than the other seed I had originally. Maybe not, maybe it's about the same size, but this would be the goal in the big size watermelon. That, if I could get that, that's perfect, that's ideal. So I guess I'll keep the seed in this one just as a potential source later on. Because I anticipate they're gonna have tiny seed too. But that one I only had tiny seed. It had hardly any seed in it at all. I'll have to taste that. I may taste that for you. Okay, this one's a little tinier than this one, and its seed is a little bit bigger. Let me get a couple seed and I'll bring it up to the camera. If you're with me this long, then obviously this is interesting to you. Otherwise, see that the one on the right, the two on the right rather, are from this one, and the two on the left, which are small still, but not nearly, they're double the size of the ones on the right, are from this one. So I may keep the tiny seed just as breeding stock. Alright, we'll put these over here and we'll cut the last one. I don't like the look of these though. See, it's got like a yellowish tinge to it. Yeah, this one's not as ripe. And the seeds are about the same as the last one I cut open. So, let me get a taste of this one. This is the one with the really, really tiny seed and not many of them. So I'm going to get a taste of it just to see if it's, make sure it's not funky. There's more real tiny seed in here. That's actually quite good. I'm going to get a bricks on it. Okay, the bricks ain't great. It's the bricks ain't great. The bricks is not worthy. It's a 8.5. It's still got a good taste though, oddly. But still, it might be good breeding material because the seed is so incredibly tiny. It's really got a good taste. So I'll go ahead and I'll save the seed from this one just because it's so tiny. This number 2 is dead, these other 2 are dead. So we'll end the video there, and there's going to be more to come because these breeding projects that I do, they're ongoing. So next year I'll be growing it again. I wanted to show you the scale of this seed. Now I got about 40 seed there. You can pause and count if you like. That is a nickel, and I could fit all 40 seed on that nickel. So what I've decided, I want to finish my thoughts here. What I've decided is to start doing control breeding. So what I think I'm going to try to do is grow out this seed over the winter and cross it with number 4. And I think 4 has got some pretty small seed already. It's got fairly good eating quality. But I think crossing it with this seed here, even though it's a small melon, will bring up some good potential. Because the primary goal has always been to get a quality eatable watermelon with very, very tiny seeds, something that's not noticeable when you bite into it. And most importantly, be able to save the seed and grow it again the next year without having to use another pollinator like you have to do with seedless watermelons. So essentially you get a seedless watermelon quality without having to go through all the trouble, and it's open pollinated so you can save it yourself.
How long do we gotta stay here for people we don't know in one lines? All of the clothes are designer, fast cars and who knows who. Yeah, I know what they wanna say. They're gonna ask me if I'm gonna make it. I don't care if I'm gonna have to fake it, long as I can be real with